Our next guest is involved in the digital interface, if you will, for connecting all HD components. And they continue to surprise us over the year by covering all sorts of devices to make sure we can see and hear what it is in terms of our content the best possible way. He is the president of HDMI Licensing, Steve Venuti. Steve, welcome back into Tomorrow. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Always glad to have you because, again, talk about innovation. You're staying on top of things and making sure that we can enjoy our content on all sorts of devices.
Well, unless you can transfer whatever you're doing from one device to another, you really can't build in the kind of features that consumers want. So we're always looking ahead at what the manufacturers and consumers are going to want to do down the road and make sure the interface can accommodate.
And what are you talking about here at IFA in particular?
So last year at IFA, just a year ago, we announced 2.0.
Right.
So the next version. So now we're here to answer questions about 2.0 and talk about the development of manufacturers in 2.0. 2.0 includes a lot of new features, but the one that's latched on clearly is 4K at the higher frame rates of 50, 60 frames per second.
Yeah, the Ultra HD TVs.
Ultra HD. So we're seeing all the major guys in the TV and in the AV receiver space build in 2.0 related features, the 4K 5060. We've seen some source devices, so it's like everything else at HDMI. We build it, and then it starts to become part of the everyday kind of HD component.
Yeah, and it's got to warm the cockles of your heart, especially over the years, to see. I mean, the connectors themselves were truly revolutionary for HDMI to carry both video and audio and have that great content there without a whole bunch of different cables. Everybody else went, what? That's not possible. Well, of course it is, because you developed the standards and it happened. And then now the growth that you've seen, mini HDMI and all that sort of thing, you know, from my Android phone to be able to play right to my big screen TV. How convenient is that for people? That's amazing.
Well, that was there were two winning things that happened with HDMI. One was, as you said, all those cables go away. You've got one cable that does both all your audio and video.
Yeah.
The other thing was it was uncompressed. It was the highest quality. It was digital uncompressed video going over this link. So huge bandwidth, but also the best quality.
Yeah.
And you talk about the connector. I brought one. I don't know if you want to show this.
Sure. In fact, if you're listening on the radio, come by intotomorrow.com and check out the video.
This is the micro going to a standard connector to a TV, and the reason I bring it over is because you're absolutely right. This connector has 19 pins, and the amount of data that's going over that is incredible. And we're using this right now at IFA to show a tablet that's putting out 4K content to a TV.
Wow.
To imagine 4K content going over a little connector like that is technically just very, very phenomenal.
I mean, it's got to be a whole lot of software magic and everything else to make that happen.
A lot of magic goes into this.
Yeah.
Well, I call it magic. The technical people think it's pretty simple, but you know.
Right. Well, that's why you pay them the big bucks to be engineers.
That's why I'm here.
Yes, exactly. But there's a classic example of how you can do that with so many devices now that are making it happen and easily sharing our content.
Well, an interface is all about making sure it's prevalent, it's on every device so that you know I can take the same connector here, plug in here, and I'm going to get the same experience. That's what HDMI is all about.
And not something that, at least up to now, Apple's doing, I don't think, right? Or are they kind of making some changes in that effort?
Oh, Apple begrudgingly uses HDMI when they need to. So you see it on some of their MacBooks. You see it on their Apple TV, of course, because there's no way to connect to a TV really digitally other than HDMI. But Apple's always got their own interface and their own connector that they value very, very deeply.
Yeah.
So
and charge a fortune for?
They do. So that's their own privilege. They can do it. They're in the position they can do that.
Right, exactly. But even they, I think, are going to have to come around in terms of other products and products into the future about saying, well, this is not only the standard, but everyone demands it.
Well,
no one
owns an ecosystem, right? And so you've got to exist with everybody else. And so that's what we're about, making sure that we don't care who the manufacturer is, but at least you can connect these devices and share content.
And for the most part, other than the big thing about Ultra HD, the 4K content for 2.0, are there additional features that 2.0 delivers?
So there are a bunch of other features.
Real quick.
And I'll do it really quick. There's got a dual view, which you imagine 3D technology, which goes left and right, but now it's imagine in a game player 1, player 2.
Whoa.
So I'm player 1, I can see full screen. The other guy can see his screen. You can play on the same screen and get a full screen experience. We've upped the sampling rate. We got 32 channels of audio now.
Holy cow.
And it not only is surround sound kind of a 360 this way, but now it's spherical. So with even 5 or 7 speakers, you can have multiple channels and get sound from anywhere, above, below. Pretty incredible stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other stuff. So 4K is what this year's all about.
Yeah.
But we'll see the others start to be developed as the market wants it.
Oh, love it. The magic of HDMI. And Steve, you and your team keep up the good work, because no doubt there'll be a 3.0. There'll be other things, even though you have to wonder right now, what else can we possibly do? You're kind of doing everything. But
we got some ideas.
I'll bet you do. Exactly. And you'll be on top of them. Thanks, as always, for joining us on the program, and especially our first time having you on here at IFA.
First time at IFA.
Yes, indeed. Delighted to have you. Of course, HDMI.org. Visit his organization, and you'll see what he and his team are up to for all sorts of neat stuff. And, of course, visit intotomorrow.com. We'll link you there to Steve's site and all of our guests here in Berlin. We're back with more as Into Tomorrow continues. I'm Dave Graveline on the Advanced Media Network.